Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Kale, welcome to HDpiano. In this lesson we're going to be throwing it back to the 80s with Alone by Heart. In this part 1 video, I'm going to be teaching the main riff to the song, and here's how that sounds. So there you have it, that's the main riff. Now before we dive into going over this, I've got a question for everybody tuning in out there. Now the piano was a big part of pop music in the 80s, and we're trying to add a few more 80s songs to our catalog recently. So do you guys have any favorite 80s tunes that involve a really distinct piano part, or just a great piano part that stands out? If so, comment below with your suggestion and we'll try our best to add that lesson to our catalog. Okay, so let's jump into this. Now, we're going to start with our right hand because that's by far the most active of the two hands in this part. And we're going to start with our thumb on F. Here's middle C for reference, by the way. So the F above middle C. And then with our middle finger, we're going to play a B flat. And then our ring finger will add a D flat up top. So F, B flat, D flat. That's a B flat minor chord. Now, if you recall, I was playing a little rolling motion on this chord when I just went over it at the beginning of this lesson. Sounds like this. So throughout the entire main riff, we're going to be doing this little pivot motion between our middle and our ring fingers and our thumb. And this is an 8th note rhythm, so if you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, a quarter note would get 1 to a beat, so it would fall on each of those counts. Now 8th notes get 2 to a beat, so we'd count this like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now in the context of this section, here's how that would sound. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's try playing that rhythm together very slowly because we're going to apply it to the entire main riff. And once you get this steady motion of kind of rocking back and forth between your middle and your ring finger and your thumb, this whole intro is going to fall right into place. So are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's your B flat minor chord, the very first chord of this intro. So we're only actually going to play that chord 2 times, so 1 and 2 and then after that we're going to add a few more notes and change chords. So our next chord is a G flat add 9. So we're already here with our middle and our ring finger on B flat and D flat, and we can actually keep these there because they're going to be in our next chord. So once we get to this next chord, the G flat add 9, we're just going to add our pointer finger on the first part of the rhythm. So it's going to sound like this. So basically the same concept as our B flat minor chord, except on beat 1, we're playing A flat, B flat, and D flat with our pointer, middle, and ring fingers. And then instead of pivoting down to F with our thumb, we're pivoting to G flat with our thumb. So to recap, we have B flat minor for 2 beats, 1 and 2 and then we move up to G flat add 9, 3 and 4. Now we're only going to do this pivot thing once with this G flat add 9 because on the and of beat 4, we're going to play an E flat with our pinky. So real quick, that's going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's try that bar together really slowly. So we're going to start with our B flat minor for 2 beats and then our G flat add 9, remembering that on the last part of beat 4, the and, we're going to play a high E flat with our pinky. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so after that G flat add 9 chord, we're going to go down to an A flat major chord. So we're going to move our entire hand down and play an E flat with our thumb, an A flat with our middle finger, and a C with our pinky. We're going to do the same pivot motion as before. So once we get to this A flat chord, we actually have a little bit of a riff we're going to have to play. So for beats 1 and 2, we're going to do the same routine as before with our pivot motion. And then after that, on beat 3, we're going to play A flat and C again, but we're going to play this little rundown that goes like this. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that's C with your pinky, B flat with your ring finger, A flat with your middle finger, and then G flat with your pointer finger. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's try adding everything we have so far, starting with our B flat minor chord. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, so we have that. Now let's add the left hand to this part before we move on to the second half of the main riff. Because the left hand part is pretty easy. So on our first chord, B flat minor, we're just going to play a B flat in our left hand. So I'd play that with your pointer finger. Now once we play that B flat minor chord, on our G flat add 9, we're going to add a G flat in the left hand, and I'd play that with your ring finger. So, all in all, for that first bar, we have a B flat down to G flat. Now on our next chord that we just learned, the A flat major, we're going to play an A flat with our middle finger. But on the second half of that bar, when we play this little run, we're going to move our left hand down to a G flat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So in summary, we have B flat to G flat to A flat and then G flat again. Let's try that with both hands together really slowly. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, after that we're going to do a little bit of a different thing for the second half of the main riff, but there will be some parts from what we just learned that we're going to use over, so it's not going to be too complicated. So after we play this A flat chord and a little rundown, in our right hand we're going to do just a couple notes. So we're going to go 1 and 2. That's it. So just F with your thumb, and then on the and of 1, play a B flat, and then play a B flat again on beat 2. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're going to add the left hand to that real quick, and it's just another B flat. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now after that we're going to go back to our G flat add 9 chord for 2 beats. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Pretty easy, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now on the next bar we're going to jump back up to our A flat major chord. So 1 and 2 and, which is also pretty familiar. But finally, the weird part about the second half of this riff is that we're going to go up to A in our left hand, and we're going to play another little run of notes rather than this chord pivot thing. So in our left hand, we've got an A, and in our right hand, we're going to play this. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So let's break that down real quick. Starting on beat 1, we have an F and an A. So let's play that F with your thumb and the A with your pointer finger. So 1. And then on the and of 1, we're going to go up to a B flat with our middle finger. 1 and then we're going to move up to C with our pinky on beat 2. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And then finally, following that up on the and of beat 2, we'll play an F with our thumb. So 1 and 2 and. And by that point, we're in perfect position to go back to our B flat minor chord that we started off with. So our thumb is still there, ready to pivot. So all in all, for that last bar, we have A flat, and then this run over A in your left hand. Now we can call this an F over A, because we're technically playing all the notes of our F major chord. So let's recap the second half of this main riff. So we have this little line, and then our G flat add 9 chord, and then A flat major, and then F over A. Now let's try going over this entire main riff very slowly, and then we'll be all set with it, and you'll have learned the intro and the verse to this song. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, nice job. You have learned the hardest part of the song, so from now it should be pretty smooth sailing. Thanks as always for tuning in to HDpiano. Now you can go over to HDpiano.com for part 2 of this video, where I cover the pre-chorus to the song. Please consider subscribing below, and also you can follow us on Twitter at HDpiano and tweet any song requests you have with the hashtag HDrequests. You can also like us on Facebook, where we're posting a bunch of piano content over there. So thanks again, and see you guys over at HDpiano.com, home of the hybrid piano lesson.